Hello everybody and welcome! Kerbal Space Program has been out for, well, almost a year now, but the one thing I have never really looked into in depth was the tutorials. And since a lot of you have asked me in recent times, since the For Science update came out, whether or not the game is now suited for beginners, because KSP1 was really tough nut to crack for people who were not familiar with orbital mechanics or how rockets work, etc. So I thought it might be a good idea whether or not the tutorials that are provided in-game are actually any good. So, KSP Veteran versus KSP2 tutorial. Let's try this out. If you enjoy Kerbal Space Program related content and or everything about space, make sure you subscribe to this channel and click also the bell to get notifications. And if you really want to support what I'm doing for, well, almost 10 years now, I would appreciate it a lot if you considered becoming a YouTube member or a patron over on Patreon. Some of the tiers over there enable you to get your name on the side of the video at the end. So if you like something like that, make sure you check it out. I really appreciate it. Alright, let's head over to the training center and see what's what. Let's go to the first tutorial. How do rockets work? Let's learn the basics of rocketry. I already know this white-haired character, that is Paige.
Space is the place.
Yeah, and she's a rather chipper person. I know this is maybe normal for American viewers, but these eagerly happy voices...
Have you tried rockets?
I don't know. It's not how our culture works over here in Austria. And yes, we are now back home. Hi there. Okay, and that Kerbal is probably dead. Murder in the first video. Well, let's go to the next one. Well, Kerbals are very sturdy creatures, so I'm pretty sure they survived.
Let's learn how to rotate the flight camera. Great. You can also
zoom in and out. Okay, this is really basic stuff. Can you recognize what's wrong here? You can see that the wingtips down here are a bit off. Okay, pick your favorite view. This is my favorite view. And let's press go. And it's launch. Still with those wingtips on the wrong side. Okay, we're supposed to get to 1,000 meters. Controls. Okay, pitching up and down. Okay, this is really very bare bones basic stuff. So if you have never played Kerbal Space Program before or any other of these space simulator games, then this is quite nice to really learn the absolute basics. So this was really quick tutorial for really bare bones stuff what to do. I can imagine for people who have no idea what to do, that's actually not bad. Ah, okay, let's build a rocket.
This rocket will use a command pod, which can be manned by a Kerbal, and is located in the pods category.
I would like if they say pods category that this would be highlighted, you know? So that I immediately, while I read this or while I get this narrated, that I already see where I need to go next. But yeah, here it is. It's exactly what I meant. We just follow the circles and add them. Okay, they explain about different engine types. So the idea to differentiate between launcher engines and sustainer engines is to have, for beginners, probably some different indicators about, okay, should I use this on my first stage or second stage? Right, what should I do now? I didn't listen. Parachute, yes. There we go. And I've learned how to build a rocket. Okay, really, again, very basic, keeping it very simple. But also very, very understandable and approachable. Okay, not bad so far. Now we learn how to do things in the VA, zooming in and out, and the middle mouse button up, down, focusing on a specific part, yes. Blueprint mode, I really like the blueprint mode. And reset with the home key. Okay, and now I've learned how to use the camera and the VAB. Since there is not really anything in the UI to show you what you're doing in the VAB in regards to camera, that's okay that there's a tutorial for that.
Welcome to the launch pad. Today you'll be flying straight up. Your rocket should do fine without any steering inputs. But if things...
Aging, yes.
When a stage completes its job, it's dropped to shed weight.
Well, unless you're SpaceX, then you recover your stages. Can I stop you, Paige? No, I can't. That would be nice to have some sort of like play pause button for the narration. Yeah, I mean, we have the text here, so if we miss the narration, for instance, I don't know, the phone rings, okay, I missed the narration, but I still have the text here and I can read up on it. So it's not that bad, but still I would really like to see something like a play pause button for the narration stuff. And also what she didn't explain, since I believe the tutorials were already recorded before that feature was implemented, is that you can press this bar on the right side of the staging UI and you can see more information like delta V, thrust to weight ratio, etc. But also at this stage of how the tutorial is running, I don't think that is already something that they really would want to teach people right now at the moment. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Yes, we're gonna stage that. And now we have our next stage. Well, that's how it goes. You spend a stage and then you stage the next one. And we don't have a heat shield. What is our apoapsis? Oh, only 45 kilometers. So what happens in this tutorial when I hit that altitude? Does the re-entry heat apply? Let's wait and see. I don't think this is going to be a problem. But it would be really a bit funny if there was like a tutorial for something like re-entry and wouldn't consider heat shields. Well, let's see. We're gonna see that in probably maybe one of the next items. Okay, yeah, that's not gonna be a problem. Oh, the parachute bug. Yeah, I cannot stage the parachute. And we're dead. Good thing this is just a simulation.
Rocketry involves a lot of waiting between the coolix. Check out your altimeter. See how quickly those numbers are rising? Let's ride the rest of the way up and fast forward.
Okay, now the tutorial wants me to do exactly what I did before.
Back down.
Okay.
Let's slow down and enjoy the view. Great job. You're now a master of time.
Okay, I learned how to do time warp. Time warp, a really important feature for Kerbal Space Program 1 and 2 alike. So I get that they want to have new players understand how it works and what you can do with it. Can we activate the parachute now? Oh, now it works. Okay. We did not get caught by the bug.
Once you've slowed down enough, it'll open all the way by itself.
Well, once I've slowed down enough, actually, that's not really correct because it opens at 1,000 meters above ground. So that's how the parachutes work. They don't work because you've slowed down enough. They work because of the altitude, at least in the game. Okay, what did we learn? I like that they put a summary at the end of each tutorial that you can see, okay, this is what we talked about, this is what you should have learned in this lesson. And yeah, we're gonna end the tutorial now. Are we finished? No, that was just the first segment. Those were like first 7 of a couple of more, right? Exactly. Space is the place. Now we need to miss the ground. So I guess this is how to get to orbit. Yes. Okay, let's try that. Our first rocket, we wanted to make a multi-stage rocket. So we need a decoupler. Yes. Build a decoupler. Okay. They show us how we merge workspaces. Workspaces is how they call vehicles in KSP2. So this is nice. This is also something that worked in KSP1. We merged the stuff, but as we can see, the staging is messed up. So Check your staging. Right, maybe that's something we'll learn now. I don't know. I hope I don't jump ahead too much in my mind. The game doesn't catch up or something. Right-click the symmetry. Right-click? Oh! I didn't know you could right-click it. I always use the keyboard to increase the symmetry. Interesting.
Great job.
Yes.
You've finished your orbital rocket.
Finished, did I? I want some nose cones. There we go. Yeah, always some nice little quips and jokes in there. Maybe that's not your cup of tea. I tend to skip them. Okay, hey, they took away my nose cones.
You need to plan the order of your staging events.
Check your staging.
Nobody wants to start out their flight by popping their parachute, right?
Exactly. Move to 4 solid rocket boosters from stage 1 to stage 2. And we did that. Okay, we learned about staging. Check your staging. Always check your staging. Next thing would probably be launching this. Yes, let's head to orbit. The nav ball. Okay, this explains the nav ball. Oh, that's a good visualization. That's really well done. How the nav ball relates to your vehicle. Whoever did that, good job. Yes, let's go. Okay. Okay, spacebar to stage.
It's time to start your gravity turn.
I usually start my gravity turn earlier than 10,000 meters. Ah, we have an indicator on the nav ball where we should go. That's nice. So I hope something like that can be used for a waypoint or other marker. So maybe some future markers will be introduced.
Your rocket is on its way to orbit.
No, it isn't yet. I mean, it's on its way to out of space because it's at like 120 kilometers. We did the basic gravity turn stuff. We did some staging. So this was actually a first simple flight. Ah, circulization, right. We're learning about maneuvers now. And now we need to set to prograde and full throttle. They teach us to manually get to orbit before they're going to teach us the maneuver nodes, or maneuver plans, as they call it in KSP2. So we have launched, we have now reached an apoapsis outside of the atmosphere, and now we need to circularize this somewhat so we get into a stable orbit around the planet. So that's where they want us to burn prograde before the apoapsis until we get a periapsis above 70 kilometers. The tutorial skipped a few pages because apparently out of my instincts I already cut the throttle. And if I hadn't done that, they would have said, hey, come on, cut the throttle. If you have never gone to orbit in Kerbal Space Program, or in KSP2 for that matter, maybe use that tutorial to get there. Not bad, I might add. Okay, the next chapter is called Orbits Are Weird. I mean, they are, but let's see what they are actually trying to teach us here. Right, so in the video they explained how you can raise an orbit, how it doesn't help if you point upwards and burn upwards, but you need to burn prograde in the direction you're already going to increase your orbit on the other side of where you're burning. So here's the planet, here's your burn, and here the orbit gets higher. So that's the gist of that video, and I guess we're going to try that out now. Right. So let's go into map mode. Yeah, we're going to do exactly what they did in the video, just raising the apoapsis. Throttle to 0. Okay, simple, very simple. How orbits get expanded. I skipped the chatter of page. As I said, this happy-go-lucky, everything is fun thing, I don't know. It's not how I work. EC, electric charge. So yes, we have solar panels, and yeah, we deploy them. They tell us to open the parts manager, but the parts manager opens behind the tutorial window. Yeah, I mean, you can move it around, but for a first-time player, this might be something they should reconsider. I also noticed this in the VAB when you have the procedural wing window open, so you want to adjust how the wing looks on your vehicle. It lays behind the parts manager. So if you have the parts manager open and you want to adjust the wing, and then you're wondering, hey, where's my wing window? Oh, it's behind the parts manager. So I've seen in the forums that they want to improve stuff in the UI, and I would really appreciate it if they have something like, oh, okay, there's a window. I don't overlay myself completely over the other window that's already there. Okay, we learned about electrical current and batteries and solar panels. It's important to have that stuff, that knowledge about that down, because you really don't want to have your vehicle unmaneuverable because of no electricity. Do we already? Oh, okay, there is a new tutorial. Science mode. Okay, there's a science tutorial now. Select the perform experiments button. Yeah, okay, basically there's the icon blinking, you can do an experiment, click it. And now they explain to us how this works, how science works. But is this still part of the Orbits Are Weird tutorial? I think this should be a separate tutorial from Orbits Are Weird, don't you think? Okay, we learned how to perform experiments. So this is a new tutorial that came in with the first science update. I have to admit, I skimmed through the other ones, but it's like almost a year ago. And now we have the new tutorials here. Nice.
We're on our way down and our heat shield is exposed.
Heat shields!
Have you ever wondered what a marshmallow feels like when it catches on fire?
I don't want to feel like a marshmallow, but I guess this is the next tutorial. So they do consider the re-entry heating and heat shielding. This is great. Orienting retrograde. Do we have a heat shield? Yes, we do, but it has the fairing still active. Why does it have the fairing active? I hope we don't get some sort of overheating bug that destroys the capsule, but probably in the tutorials everything is unkillable. No, it isn't, because I destroyed the other thing earlier.
Watch the show.
Yep, page, let's watch the show. Interestingly, the color scheme is completely different than it would be when you're not in this training simulation, but that is to be expected because everything has like this bluish tint. Do we have ablation going on? Yes, it is ablating, and we ablated 0.01 tons of ablator. Not a very high energy re-entry, but still something is going on. Speed things up a little bit. And now let's deploy the parachute. And no bug. Why does the parachute work without bugs during the tutorial, but not when I do it in a mission?
Our crew will land in the correct number of pieces. Mission accomplished.
I do like to land in the correct number of pieces. Okay, that's our tutorial. That was Orbits Are Weird, which was kind of, for me, a mixed bag because it wasn't exclusively about orbits. It also included the science stuff and it also included the heat shield stuff. So maybe that title is a bit off because, yeah, we have like here, okay, Orbits Are Weird. That's the first one. Then we have like how to get electric charge and how to use it. We have how to do science and atmospheric re-entry. So basically, stuff you can do on orbit, but still it does not exclusively have something to do with Orbits Are Weird. Maybe the title should be something like performing your first mission or something, because you could tie this into a narrative like, okay, we made it to orbit, now we need to perform our experiments because we have some science on board. Before we can deploy our science, we need to make sure we have enough electricity, so deploy your solar panels, then do the experiment, then deorbit the vehicle, then do the re-entry and landing. So I'm missing like the coherent narrative that we had in the first two segments, Space is the Place and Missing the Ground. So Yeah, developers, if you're listening, maybe you can adapt that. It's not bad, but not as coherent as the other parts. Okay, what's in the final segment? There's 4 sections: orbital transfers, planning a maneuver, executing a maneuver plan, and capturing. So basically, if I read this right, we're learning how to go to the moon. How do you pronounce it? Let me know in the comments. Do you pronounce it moon, like we call our moon? Do you pronounce it mun? Do you pronounce it min? Whatever, let me know in the comments. Scott Manley would argue that Minmus would be a better chance. It is further away and it is in an inclined orbit, but the landing on Minmus is a lot easier because you need way less delta V and therefore you won't crash as much. And you have these wide plains where you can really safely land.
Once you're in the Mun's gravity well, the best way to slow down is to fire your engines backwards.
This was just a video, but a rewind option, that would be fun. Like the Forza game series, where when you miss a turn or hit an obstacle and you just press a button and it rewinds 10 seconds or something. That would be fun for KSP. Like, you don't have to okay, quick save, quick reload, quick save, quick reload, but like you have inverted time warp. Like, you have time warp from pause to a billion times faster, but also have it the other way, right? So that the game goes back in time, maybe like for, I don't know, 10 minutes maximum or something, so that you can fix your mistake without the need of having a save game at the ready, right? So like an emergency rewind functionality. Of course, this will not be possible when you consider the upcoming multiplayer feature, but for single player, would be fun, and it would be keeping in line with how KSP is set up as well. We have the time warp stuff, we have the try again stuff, so I would have needed, I would really welcome such a feature where you're like, let's rewind a little bit. We're going to the moon, we need to right click it and set a target. Okay, now we see our inclination indicators. Yes, they remind us what we've learned about orbital mechanics, how increasing velocity on one side raises the orbit on the other side. So we need to make sure that the Mun is kind of on the other side of where we want to do our burn. When we get there, that's the problem. This is a good spot because this is actually how you can manually aim. You see what I'm doing? When you see the moon over there, it's just over the horizon, and you put your maneuver node somewhere here. Okay, they have the orange arrow over there, but usually where I have the cursor now also works. And then you create your maneuver plan. Okay, now they throw in the word delta V. I don't think they have explained the term delta V yet, or at least not sufficiently. They talked about spent stages, they talked about how much fuel it was using, but they didn't talk about delta V as kind of what the concept really is. And that's way too far. We want to get closer. Why can't I fix the... Oh, because I'm in the tutorial, that's why I can't fix the periapse indicator, etc. You really need to learn how to do this maneuver stuff, because without it you will not be able to get anywhere in KSP. So 129 is the closest I can get with the maneuver set here. But see what happens when I drag this around? The periapsis also changes. So I'm gonna open this. See, we're now down to 70 kilometers. And now we're crashing. You can adjust by either how much you burn or where you start a maneuver, where you're gonna end up at your target. So this is why it's important to have like a really precise way to set the maneuvers. Currently, the dragging of the maneuver node is a bit finicky. It does a lot of, it changes things a lot, even if you move it just a millimeter. You can already see we're now down to 7,000 meters of periapse height, and that will almost graze the highest points on the Moon. And when we raise our orbit, when we put more energy into orbit, we can get even lower. So we're down to below 7 kilometers with 869 meters per second of delta V. I'm still curious when we're going to learn what delta V actually is. Maybe they said it before and I skipped it. Again, let's go to the maneuver plan. As to explain how the burn timer works. We're focusing our SES to the maneuver, and now we warp to the maneuver node. Hey, that periapse is really far away from the Moon. I did that better. Yeah, those are canned tutorials. 3, 2, 1, go. Yes, I'm gonna fast forward through the burn, because that's one of the coolest features of KSP2 is that you can time warp under burning. Yay, we did it! First Moon mission on the way. Moon mission. I always mix those up. Alright, so we did that. And was that it? No, we need to get captured over there. Select 1000 times time warp. There we go. Let's get into the sphere of influence. Probably gonna pause, exactly. And we need to reduce our velocity now. So she's gonna tell me to create a maneuver plan and go backwards. Point it towards the maneuver, then fast forward to the maneuver. Usually I would switch from map view to flight view because I would want to record that so you can see a little bit more than just some colored lines. And go.
We have an fantastic.
Point of contention here. She told me to stop the throttle when the timer was at 0. The timer is at 0, but that yellow bar, the so-called, they're calling it the staging timeline, not really a compelling name from my perspective, because it's not really about staging, it's about how much delta V I am spending, or I have spent to reach the final position of the maneuver. And also, this is something I've complained from day one, and I really think they need to fix that, is that you can only see the required delta V numbers. And I really think there should be a delta V still needed to reach your planned destination. So as you can see here, we have a blue line and we have a golden yellowish line. The golden is the planned maneuver, and the blue is where we actually are at the moment. So you can see that our apoapsis is still a lot higher than what the plan would ask of us. And this is also reflected in that yellow bar on the bottom. The yellow bar tells us, hey, to really hit that plan, you should have burned a little bit more. Like if I increase my throttle a little bit, you can see that yellow bar going down, and my blue bar, the blue circle, laying itself over the golden circle. And we can see the yellow bar on the bottom is basically now almost done. While a nice indication for like rough measurement where you are in your plan, I really still would like, for very precise maneuvers, a delta V number. Remaining delta V number, to remaining in the sense of remaining delta V needed to actually hit the orbital target that I wanted to reach. So yeah, a bit of combination of critique towards the tutorial and also towards how that functionality is working right now. I really think there should be some adaptation coming. It's not bad, it works well, but yeah. And we're done, basically. So that was the last of the tutorial segments, and time went by quite in a breeze. I actually had a bit of fun doing that. As I said, I'm not so much a fan of these upbeat, you can feel the constant smiling of the character page through the screen thing. But that's just me, that's how I'm wired. But in regards to the content that is provided, really good basics for absolute beginners, people that have never played KSP or KSP1. They are getting a good start in here to get going and to have a foundation to build upon and go from there. So, and I also heard this from people when I was at the Space Creator Day and somewhere else. People came to me and also came to Nate Simpson, the creative director. He was there as well, and told him, hey, the tutorials really helped me get a foothold into KSP2 and how to fly a rocket and how orbits work, etc. Maybe I really don't need to do tutorial videos for how to get to the moon or how to get to orbit or something, because they already did it. Still, as I said, some points of improvement potentially. For instance, that orbits are weird segment is a bit of a mixed bag, because it tries to be too many things at once, or at least there is not this coherent narrative going through like for the other things. For the other things, you have like, okay, we're going to learn about space, we're going to learn about how to build in the VAB, and the last one is also again coherent, where it says, okay, let's go to the moon and get into orbit around the moon. Future tutorials, what could be future tutorials? Maybe something like how to land somewhere, and for this I would definitely choose Minmus. For a tutorial, put the vehicle already in orbit around Minmus and teach the players how to get into how to fire the rockets retrograde, so they hit the target where they want to go. Make them aware that due to the rotation of the moon or planet, the original indicator where you probably will land might not be where you will end up, because you have to account for the rotation. But what I would also like to see is a tutorial for docking, because this is something that people have looked for or asked for in KSP1 a lot, so a docking tutorial would be really nice. Maybe something for rovers, how to best drive a rover in KSP2. And as said in the beginning, your name could be here, like Johnster Space Program and Danikov. Both have signed up for the higher tiers on my YouTube memberships and Patreon. So if that is something that you would like to see your name here, sign up today. And even if you don't, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking with my channel. And if you haven't, please subscribe. I really want to reach 100,000 subscribers finally, after almost 10 years on YouTube. So that would be a nice milestone to hit. Alrighty then, let's see each other in the next video.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more and follow me on my social thingies. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.